95% of people never come anywhere near their potential. For the same reason that they have this vision of how things could and should be done, and in the hecticness of the day and the week, we forget that vision. So as leaders, we have the opportunity to bring out people's potential.
Two people getting together to have a conversation, as strange as we all are, it just causes some difficulty sometimes.
This is the other thing in difficult conversations. The way you convince somebody is to talk more, right? If I just keep talking and talking and talking, you'll eventually agree with me? That doesn't work. Yet so many times we might be in a conversation and think, if I just explain it a different way, you'll finally get it.
And if you need a minute to regain your composure, take it. Because if you react in a way that is negative, that is not productive, it's going to take a long time to rebuild that relationship.
There is no one in this world that you believe more than yourself. You may try to convince yourself that your boss knows better or somebody else what they say is really important, but you will always believe you. And that's why it's so important for you to say to the employee, I know you can do it.
The truth is that no one sees the world exactly as you do. No one sees things, how they should be done, what should be done, exactly the way you do. So when you look out into the world, I ask you, what do you see? What do you see that's wrong? What do you see that should be different? What bothers you? What should be done differently? How should things operate? Real conversation sees the opportunity space. The opportunity space is that little moment in time between when you speak and I respond. And I have a choice of how I'm going to respond. And I could blow up, because sometimes that's effective. And sometimes that works, and sometimes that's necessary. However, every interaction you have with people, and during the conversation, grabbing the steering wheel means that you are using that opportunity space and you're deciding how you are going to respond.
Don't should all over people. Have you ever said they should have done that? They should have known that? All right, so the question is not have you, but how many times a day? They should have known, they should have done this. So much of the time, we think we've communicated something. We think we've gotten it through to them, and yet we haven't. So anytime you want to say they should have, ask yourself the question, why should they have?
So what is a difficult conversation? Well, sometimes it's the gap as large as the Grand Canyon, but it's an interchange between two people. But these two people, there's a gap in the expectations, the beliefs, the approaches, maybe the willingness, the competence, there is some gap. You can learn all the mechanics of leadership. Delegating, accountability, motivating. You can learn all those things. You can learn all the tips and tricks of communication. But unless you can really connect with people and bring out their best and bring out their potential and get the initiative that's inside of them out, you're limited to how far you're going to go. What happens when difficult conversations either don't happen because we ignore them or they don't go well? Well, my biggest frustration is there's unrealized potential. There's hidden greatness. There is so much potential in people, in ourselves and in the teams that we have that we never realize. So much potential because you know what? You have to get through a difficult conversation in order to get there.
It's a journey. If you're going to climb a big mountain, now I'm scared of heights, I don't know if I'd climb the mountain, but if I was going to climb a really big mountain, probably wouldn't be real fast. But just like an experienced climber, I would put one foot in front of the other. And so would they. So climbing a mountain is a series of steps. So in building the stronger relationships with your team, with your employees, it's a process and it's a journey.
Ask questions. If you struggle to listen, so you sit there while somebody's talking, okay, I'm not thinking about something else, I'm listening to you. Do you know how hard it is to listen? Have you ever tried to ride your bike next to someone who's walking? That's what it's like to listen.
How am I making them feel? You are responsible for the impact you have on how someone feels.
Do you ever say always when it's really not the truth? If you're married, you probably do. You always do that.
Now, you don't have to become psychologists and figure out for every one of your people when they're doing something crazy, why they're doing it. You just have to realize that they have a good and valid reason in their head why they're doing it. If you get emotional, the conversation ceases to be productive. It doesn't matter what anybody says anymore. When that blood pressure rises, almost all productivity is gone from the conversation. if I'm walking and there's nobody behind me, I'm not a leader. I'm just going for a walk. But if I can connect with that person in some way or another through the conversations I have, connect with them, understand them, try to talk to them in a way that we're communicating back and forth, then if I start to move, maybe they'll be following me.
I believe this vision you have of the world, this vision of how things should happen, whatever you see, and this doesn't mean you have to be Steve Jobs to have a vision. Whoever you are, whatever you do, whatever role you play, no matter how much of a frontline person you might be or someone on your team might be, they still have a vision of how things should happen.
So everyone that you interact with in a difficult conversation, in that moment of opportunity space where you're deciding how to respond, they have some good reason why they're doing what they're doing, no matter how crazy whatever they're doing might seem. So we have to ask this question, where are they coming from? We have to be truly curious.